Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, where's my brethren all around the world watching this video? Hope you're having a great day. Do yourself a damn favor. Hit the subscribe button. And join the 15,000 plus that have subscribed to True School Sports. You know, cool milestone. But I wanted to do this video right here because I was watching, today I was like, I did some minor cleaning around my little apartment here, and I was just listening to everybody's like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder videos. I went to a bunch of channels. I went to channels that I went to what they would call the dark side of YouTube. I even watched LDBC videos, and we'll get to that later on because we have some people we're gonna put on blast in the next couple of videos. But there was one video I watched on BoxingWave's channel. So big shout out to BoxingWave. He's been in the YouTube boxing community for a minute. So shout out to him. I watch his videos sometimes. This time I watched this video. It was titled "If Joshua fought Wilder and Fury on the same night," and he was basically talking about Anthony Joshua, and how he matches up with Wilder and Fury, and what he believes would have happened if Anthony Joshua fought the version of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder on that night. So I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what he did, right? And I'll make my own version of the video. Okay, so it was a great fight between Fury and Wilder. We saw two prime, undefeated heavyweights go at it toe-to-toe, and really don't get much bigger and better in boxing than that. I think we can all agree on that as well. Wilder, for those who've been following me on this channel, I've had my opinions on the Wilder-Joshua situation. I've always been of the mindset that Wilder is not going to beat Joshua. He does not have the skills to beat Joshua, and quite frankly, I just think Joshua's skill set is much too vast for Wilder to figure anything out, really. But I don't rule him out. When you have this kind of power, you always have a great chance of winning the fight. You always have that punch chance of winning the fight. And I will say I think Wilder-Joshua is a more competitive fight than Wilder versus Fury. That much I will say. So if Joshua were to match up with the Deontay Wilder who fought Tyson Fury, I think Anthony Joshua would definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, get a 9th round stoppage, something like that. Because you gotta look at it like this, man. It is worth noting that Anthony Joshua, in no way, shape, or form, is as good in terms of footwork or defense as Tyson Fury. That will not be argued here on this channel. So a lot of what Fury was doing that was offsetting Wilder's game plan and getting Wilder frustrated, we're not going to see from Anthony Joshua. What we would see from Anthony Joshua, as we've seen in pretty much all his fights this year, whether it be against Parker or Alexander Povetkin, is that he is going to be very focused and concentrated in getting his jab established, making sure that jab is the tone setter of the fight. And I think, as Fury showed in the fight, if you can jab Deontay Wilder and land successfully with the jab, you are not just going to have success, but you will have a lot of success, and you can find the right shots to hit and hurt Deontay Wilder, as Fury did in instances in the fight. What I will also say is that it is worth noting that Joshua has a very educated jab, much like Fury. Doesn't move quite as well as Fury, but has a very, very educated jab. He's a stiffer jab than Fury, and on top of that, he's a more of an elite puncher than Fury. He's more of an elite puncher, and he's more of an elite finisher than Fury. So I believe once he would have Wilder hurt, he would definitely finish Deontay Wilder. He would definitely hurt Deontay Wilder, and he would definitely finish Wilder, hurt Deontay Wilder, and you could definitely see him coming over the top of the right hand or left hook to hurt Deontay Wilder, because Wilder is wild, as his name would insinuate. And Joshua, just as the fights go on, you look at the body of work, 22 fights, unifying the division, being the likes of Klitschko, Povetkin, Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, Dillian White, just the top level names of the division he's beat. Yeah, he's maybe not the most. He doesn't have the most bravado. He's not talking the most trash or anything like that. But Anthony Joshua, what I do like about him, he is a man of actions. Some guys talk the talk, he walks the walk, and you got to respect it. I think if he was in a fight with Wilder, which could have happened this year, but Wilder's team wouldn't accept the $15 million flat fee, and they just didn't want to be realistic with the negotiations. I I think he would. I think he would definitely stop Wilder. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that to me is a bit of an easier fight to pick. Now, the fight in the heavyweight division. Now that Fury is back and we've seen that he's getting closer and closer to being that 100% Tyson Fury, as we saw in the Wilder fight. To me, that's the more interesting fight, and that's the fight in the heavyweight division because he's going to present the same challenges to Anthony Joshua as he does to every other heavyweight. The fact that he's 6'9", can box, can move, has an incredible boxing IQ, next level toughness, as Manuel Stewart told us years ago, and as we found out this past Saturday night when he got up off the canvas. There's toughness and there's next level toughness, and Tyson Fury has next level toughness. So even if he was hurt against Joshua, who you would deem to be one of the best finishers in all of boxing in terms of when you have an opponent hurt, can you get him out of there? Can you finish the job? He is one of the best at it in boxing, and I don't know, man. His punch selection, his offensive arsenal, his offensive skill set is a lot more vast. There's a lot more variety to what he does offensively than Deontay Wilder. We know Wilder, if you stand there in front of him, which obviously Fury didn't from the whole fight, if you stand there in front of him, he's got a good jab. But once you start moving, it's hard for him to jab, and he kind of just follows you around the ring with the right hand, and he just got it cocked and ready to go. He's got it cocked and ready to go. And if he finds that right hand, that's your ass. But it's like it was very hard for him to do against Fury for the majority of that fight. Now, for Joshua, Fury would have to think a lot more. He would definitely. I think his offensive skill set would force Fury to think a lot more. He would be throwing a lot of jabs, not necessarily jabs to land, but maybe throwaway punches to offset maybe some of Fury's movements, and then it'd be up to Joshua to cut the distance, cut the ring, and dictate where the fight is fought, whether it be in the middle of the ring, the corner, wherever. And I just think it'd be the ultimate cat and mouse game between those two. It might even result in some boring rounds and some boring action, but I definitely see Joshua and Fury, I should say, as the most tactically. If you're a boxing purist, that's the best, most tactically brilliant fight you'd want, because I would say Fury is pure boxer. He's pure boxer. Joshua is boxer puncher. So it's boxer puncher versus boxer. And with Fury, it's like we've seen Joshua before, right? We've seen him get outboxed. We saw him get outboxed in pockets of the Klitschko fight. We saw him get outboxed by Takam for some rounds. We've seen him get hurt by Dillian White. We've seen Joshua be vulnerable. So I know there's a lot of people here on YouTube that think Anthony Joshua is this invincible heavyweight, and quite frankly, he's not. Is he doing a hell of a lot for his 22 fights in the professional boxing ranks? Absolutely. You'd be crazy to say otherwise. But has Anthony Joshua always given us picture-perfect performances where he's not getting hurt and where he hasn't shown vulnerabilities? No. He's gotten touched up by Dillian White. He got put on the canvas by Klitschko. Povetkin gave him some good work here and there. But as you've seen, as he's began to step it up and as he began to get older and get more fights, see different styles, he has become a better fighter. And I think his boxing IQ is there's enough boxing IQ there to give Fury some problems. There's definitely enough. I would even say physically he's stronger than Wilder. So if he wants to kind of lean up on Tyson and maybe cut the distance, I think he'd be able to do that. And you could offset. He would be able to offset a lot of what Fury can do just by being able to land his jab and just change the levels of his punches, whether they be to the body, to the head, the shoulders, whatever. If he's able to do that as he's shown in many of his fights, then he has the potential to stop Fury. But if you told me, Brendan, you're a betting man, who you gonna put your money on if they fought in 2019? Joshua, Tyson Fury, Wembley Stadium. Who you putting your money on? I'm telling you right now, every second, every day of the week, twice on Sunday, I'm betting my money on Tyson Fury. Because I've always felt that Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. He had two tune-up. You guys understand you guys will have to understand what the hell you just watched on Saturday. This man was 400 pounds, was doing cocaine, was drinking his ass off, was living the most unhealthy lifestyle a man could live without dying. Okay, putting his body through all kinds of hell. Ballooned up to 400 pounds, looked like a shell of himself, didn't want to live anymore, could barely talk properly. Go watch the videos when he was fat and 400 pounds. Could barely talk properly. And then over time, gradually took off the 130 pounds, 140 pounds, whatever it was. Took two tune-up fights, one against a cruiserweight, another against the somewhat of a heavyweight in Pianeta. I know Pianeta beat Johan Duapas. So, fought those two guys, and then after that said straight away, I want to fight the most destructive one-punch knockout artist in all of boxing, Deontay Wilder. He fought him, boxed his ears off for the majority of that fight. Clowned the shit out of him for most of that fight. It was so easy for him at times that he got himself in trouble, especially on that first knockdown when he was celebrating and kind of putting himself in a position to get hit and knocked off balance. So, but it was that easy for him. It's that easy for him to win the rounds against Wilder. And it was that easy for him to do that in only his third fight back, and really his first significant fight since the Klitschko fight. So who was to say that if he fights Joshua in the latter stages of 2019 or early 2020, where he's had 2-3 more fights under his belt to settle into optimum weight and just getting comfortable in the ring again, I'll pick Fury all day over Joshua. Joshua has shown himself to definitely tire out, maybe get tense, a little tense at times. And recently, like if you look at his last 3 fights, right? His last 3 fights, he's fought Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, and Povetkin, who all guys who are shorter heavyweights than him. And it's the same thing with Wilder. He's tall than most heavyweights. He's a super heavyweight. So, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for him to punch up. He's punched straight. Klitschko was maybe a little slightly taller than him. He's punched straight, but punching up towards Fury, a guy that's doing this the whole fight and stabbing you and going like this. And, it's just, I've always said it and I'll continue to say it. It's a matchup nightmare. But so to get back on topic, as what I was talking about, if Joshua were to fight the Fury that fought Wilder, I think that would be a very close fight. I really do. If the Joshua that fought Povetkin fought the Fury that fought Wilder, I think it'd be a very close fight because of Fury's movement, because of his ability to land punches from weird ass angles. He's able to offset your movement and make you a low volume puncher by just constantly feigning. And it almost looks like he's gonna have a seizure sometimes by the way he stands, but that's just how he is. That's who he is. He's awkward. So yeah, I would lean towards probably a split decision towards Anthony Joshua at this point in time, but I'm talking about a razor close fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if that version of Fury would be Anthony Joshua, because he's that good. He's that good of a fighter. And the thing is too, if he fought Joshua, the occasion would be bigger. And Tyson Fury, probably more than any fighter in boxing, is one of those fighters where the bigger the stage is, the better he will fight. Simple as that. The smaller the stage, the worse he's going to fight. That's what he's shown in his career. Go look at his last 3 fights. He fought Safari and Pianeta. It was what it was. They were glorified sparring centers. He fought Wilder in a big heavyweight fight here in America, and you saw what it was. Legendary performance that will go on. That people in boxing, the boxing fans will remember for the rest of their lives. If you watch the Fury fight against Wilder, you will never forget that. You will never forget his performance. You will never forget him putting his hands behind his back. You'll never forget the accurate jab. You'll never forget him getting up the canvas in round 12. You'll never forget how he was able to hurt Wilder even after he got up off the canvas in round 12. People kind of forget that. That gets lost in the fact that he got off the canvas. But Joshua Fury is a much more competitive fight to me just because of Joshua's overall skill set and what he brings to the table. And a lot of what he brings to the table does have the potential to offset Fury and put him in some serious trouble. So, you know what they say, man. It's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but it's about the size of the fight in the dog. Shout out to that picture. New addition to the True School Sports YouTube set. Got a freaking pit bull boxing gloves on. Some gangsta ass shit right there. But anyway, that's my opinion. If Joshua fought Fury and Wilder that showed up on that night, I think he beats Wilder. I think he beats Wilder, period, anytime. I just always thought that. Wilder doesn't have the boxing skills to get over the hump against the Furies and the Joshuas of the world. And then against Fury, I would see it as a very close split decision fight where maybe he scores a knockdown or he gets outpointed, but I think his offensive skill set and his jab and his maturity as a fighter is going to give Tyson Fury would have gave Tyson Fury some serious problems. So that's my opinion. I'll say Joshua stops Wilder, and I'll say he gets a very razor-thin split decision victory against Tyson Fury. But a disputed one at that. So let me know what you guys think, man. Like Anthony Joshua, how would he have done against Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, the ones that showed up on that night? How do you think those guys match up with him and all that good stuff? Let me know in the comments down below. take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just from being it. So until next time, take care, guys.